You, I guess, were pretty busy last year. You also did the CBC Roots to the Future program with, well, CBC and Celtic Colors kind of joint.
That was
production.
A kind of dream come true project for me, actually. Yeah, I have, like, growing up here, I grew up here, but neither of my parents are from Cape Breton, so I didn't have a whole lot of, like, traditional influence in my house. Like, nobody played the fiddle or anything, but I grew up in a super musical house where my dad played music and mostly, like, 60s and 70s folk songwriters. But I always heard, like, traditional and Celtic music, always, of course, right, growing up, and loved it. And so as I started becoming more serious about my songwriting, I started experimenting with putting sort of like my own modern twist on some traditional stuff. And I really wanted the chance to explore that more. And so Celtic Colors was amazing enough to like my idea, and we put together this show that involved 8 people, myself and 3 other songwriters, and then 4 other traditional instrumentalists. So we had like Colin Grant and Rose McKenzie for fiddlers, and it was so, I don't know, it was such a special project. So we basically wrote new songs that were based on traditionals or had some connection to a traditional feel or something like that.
Kind of a way to bridge the gap between traditional and modern folk.
Yeah, basically, and we were all Cape Bretoners. It was kind of one of the mandates, is that, like, we wanted to, we were all like young Cape Breton artists, and we wanted to show that traditional influences live in all kinds of different ways. So, like, we had Steve McDougall from Slow Coaster was one of the songwriters. So he obviously wrote, like, really differently than I did. We had Carlton Stone, who wrote, like, kind of rockish songs. And then we had me doing, like, more folky stuff. And it was so cool to see how all those different genres could be, like, kind of put next to traditional stuff, and fiddle pieces could be, like, fit into it. It was like, anyway, we ended up having a sold-out show at Celtic Colors last year, and we also got featured on CBC, and we're hoping to do a lot more with this project. It's certainly not dead. It's gonna keep kind of morphing into a few other ideas.
So, Ben,
hey,
you want to?
Would you like to hear a song?
Tune? No, you can just, you know,
Jokes.
hang out and tell jokes.
Oh, I love jokes. So a chicken and an egg were lying in bed next to each other, and the chicken turns to the egg and says, "Well, I guess that answers that question."
Actually, we haven't talked about your band yet. We've been talking about your solo stuff.
Yeah,
Why did that make you think of them?
Well, I play with a band called the Casual Smokers. When we're all together, we're called Ben Caplan and the Casual Smokers.
And are you all casual smokers?
No, of course not. We are all smarter than that. We're all chain smokers. No, the Casual Smokers are sort of an ever-evolving amalgam of the best gosh darn musicians I can find. And my kind of steady crew involves a fiddler from Cape Breton, a guy by the name of Donald McLennan from Old Chimney Corner. You might have heard some of his previous bands, including Mishra's Dream and TZE, Transatlantic Zodiac Ensemble. So he's my fiddler. And then I also play with the same bass player from those bands, a guy by the name of Ron Hynes. Not the Ron Hynes, the other Ron Hynes.
It can be confusing.
And, you know, it's great. Ron Hynes and Ron Hynes are actually in a bit of a feud. Ron Hynes Sr. Saw Ron Hynes, my jazz bass player's name, on a poster in St. John's. And he went to the venue and he complained, and they called up my Ron Hynes and they said, "Who do you think you are?" Ron Hynes, he's like, "You can, that's my name in this town, who the heck do you think you are?" And then they changed his name on the poster, which was, they changed it to like Ronald, like Hyner or something like that, just like totally messed it up. Like Ronald Hynes would have been one thing, you know, obviously it's not Ron Hynes playing with a jazz combo. It's Ronald Hynes playing with a... But no. Ron went out of his way to...
Of him.
Yeah, he's a bit of a rock star sometimes. I went to go see his Ron Hynes Sr.'s film at the Atlantic Film Festival in Halifax, and I got there. I got to sit down late because I was a volunteer, and I said by the time I got to sit down, there was only one seat left, and it was next to Ron Hynes. And so there I was sitting next to Ron Hynes and watching 40-foot Ron Hynes in front of me. It was pretty wild.